Hey, 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 Travel Brats. Happy Travel Brat Tuesday and last day of 2024.
Woo woo! That's right. It is the 31st of December. We are here at the end of the year. 2024 is almost over, my friends, and we're about to be in 2025. So, we just want to talk about some of what we did this year.
Yes, we had lots and lots of adventures. Man, where do we start, Nat? Okay, let's start with best and worst because I feel like that's easy. Okay, I'll start, and I feel like I'm kicking the episode off on a really low note, but that means we only have up to climb. So, you know, you guys heard in July, my grandpa passed away. He did a Chicago episode with Travel Brats. We talked about that a little bit in July. Just such a special person, and such a sweet man, and kind of, the rock of our family. So, anyway, that would be a low for me, but we had a great celebration of life for him. And honestly, I hadn't got to show my husband Chicago, so when we went up there, we stayed a little extra to hang out with my grandma, and then obviously did a few days in the city. And we did like a trip to Chicago, the Art Institute. We got to see Tchaikovsky's Ninth Symphony at the Symphony because my husband hadn't been to the Chicago Symphony, and they've got one of the best brass sections in the world. So that was amazing, and really fun. I have to say, Tchaikovsky's Ninth doesn't have a lot of brass in it, but
Really?
no, not as much as a lot of the other ones, but honestly, it was still like amazing. They got us great everything. I mean, they're still a Chicago Symphony, so string is all that. But that was really, really fun. And then I would have to say best, on the note of best, just the travel we did. I think both of us, and being able to, talk about it and have fun with it. But I did a lot of things that I done, but not in the same ways this year. So I did them again, but kind of better. I went on like a long ski trip for a couple weeks into the Rockies of Colorado. You guys know I love copper, but I kind of got to ski other things. I got to go ski Breckenridge, which is like 20 minutes from Copper. Went to Vail, which I've been to Vail before, but I hadn't been to Breck. I went to Arapahoe Basin, hadn't done that, and it was great powder. That's great on a powder day, terrible on a not powder day. So we got it on a great day. I finally got to ski snowmass at Aspen. That's been on my bucket list. My brother and I have this like ongoing joke that he used to wear an Aspen sweatshirt. And when he went for the first time, I was like, yo, get me a sweatshirt. And he's like, you can't, you faker. He's like, you can't wear an Aspen sweatshirt if you've never skied Aspen. So,
Good.
yep. So finally I got to ski Aspen. And honestly, like I got the bag and I took the wrong chair up. So I had to ski down with like my shopping bag of my Aspen sweatshirt. So I'm like skiing down, my bag's flying in the wind. And my brother's like, if this is any more a picture of you, like skiing down a mountain with a shopping bag. He's like, so that was like a highlight, like picturesque moment of my life, like skiing the last closing run from the top of, a snowmass with my bag. And then I did get to ski Keystone too, which was maybe on the worst list for the year, but it was a different mountain. We'll talk about that when we get to, the ski season episodes in the mountains. But that was a great ski trip for me. It was a big, big one. And then we did go to Jazz Fest, my friend Shelby and I, which that's been on a bucket list, and it was really cool. We only went one day because she hadn't been to New Orleans, so we did all the New Orleans things. Guys, we've got other episodes on New Orleans from, oh my gosh, season 1 through now, so go check those out. Just search New Orleans, and we did that. It was really fun. From the carriage tours, the Mississippi riverboat rides to the beignets, but Jazz Fest was really cool. We went and we saw Chris Stapleton. I've been wanting to see him forever. So seeing him live was amazing. It was like listening to him on a record. He's a great singer. Yeah, just incredible. So that was great. And then also my family has a place in Fairhope. It's kind of like a family home. And so it was fun to kind of go to that. We did 4th of July there, which we'd never done before. And celebrated my grandma's birthday there. And then just, we did Thanksgiving there this year. And it's become a bit more of like a family spot. So I love meeting everybody there. I've had some friends come through. Natalie's going to come through at some point. We're going to have a fun little Travel Rat Girls retreat. So that was really great and special. The weather's been great there all year round. And again, if you guys don't know Fairhope, Alabama, if you haven't watched Finding Love in Fairhope, it's a great hidden gem. Check it out. They kind of hate tourists, but check it out anyway. Because it's awesome. They're a really small town, that's why. But and then in regard to that area, we had gone to Hangout Fest again. You guys have heard of it. It's been kind of a tradition. But a fun fact about it is it's not a thing anymore. It is, but it isn't. So Morgan Wallen bought it and he changed it into Sand in My Boots Music Festival. So it's still not, it's not going to be only country, but it's going to have like a mix. Yeah, isn't that interesting? And but now it's good and it's bad because now it was sold out like right when they put the tickets out. So it's no more like Hidden Gem Music Festival. It's humongous now. It's going to be big, but we're going to go cover that. Probably not next year, but probably the next year. Because my little sister graduates on that same weekend. So it's fine. It's fine. We'll go in 2026. Yeah. And cover Sand in My Boots. But yeah, so that all those fun trips, upcoming episodes we have, the episodes we've done, just planning those things, recording them. They've been such a fun time this year. You guys know, big change. We cut back to 2 episodes, but I feel like we've been 2 episodes a month, but I feel like we've been really able to bring you guys a lot of good info and prepare really well for those, and get all your feedback. So, and again, the great guests we've had. I've really enjoyed some of the guests we've had, from Matt Michael to cruise extraordinaires to Ella Parler and all her crazy stories working for Red Bull and everything. So, and then I guess the other thing would be just the great holiday family time. It's been a great year. And like little drama, nice close family holidays, just relaxing time. Try to turn off work a little bit more than I usually do. Because if you guys know, Nat and I, we're always going, there's always a plan, there's always a trip, but there's also always work to do. So we're always on our computers around family at night when people go to sleep, etc. So it's just been a great year. Nat, I want to hear your best and worst.
Yeah, so it really has been an awesome year. I hope that for all of our travel brats, it's been a year of productivity and of good travel. Of course, naturally, that's the first
Mhm.
priority, good travel, but also I hope you've been able to prioritize family time and especially, during the holiday season. And as we all know, this was an election year, not to bring that into, the travel brats, but that's a big thing for all of us, that's a huge thing for everyone. No matter where you stand in this world or in this country, that was a big deal. And obviously for some people it was a great win, and for some people it was a great loss. And so whatever you're feeling, travel brats, we love you. We're here for you. And we hope that no matter what, you find ways to do things that bring you joy. And of course, for Sophia and I, traveling brings us a lot of joy. But I will say that one of the worst things, obviously, Sophia, you losing your grandfather was so hard and awful and um, too sudden. And I just really hate that for you guys. Um, and I didn't lose any family members this particular calendar year, but for any of our travel brats, I mean, I know you guys live all over the place. Sophia and I, have spent a lot of our time in Florida. That's where we met, and Florida gets a lot of hurricanes. But where I grew up in North Carolina got hit really, really hard this year. And yeah, it was just really difficult. I grew up just outside of Asheville. I've done an episode on Asheville and Black Mountain in that area, and exactly where I grew up, where I went to high school, like all of the places that I know and love are so many of them are essentially destroyed and gone. And
Mm.
thank goodness my parents moved a couple of years ago to the other side of Asheville that didn't get hit. The west side didn't get hit nearly as hard as the east side, in the Black Mountain area. But yeah, it's really tough when an area that doesn't have the infrastructure for these kinds of things, obviously Florida has been dealt some serious blows, including this year in, the Tampa, St. Petersburg, that Southwest Florida where we are, that area got hit really hard. And so I don't want to not highlight those areas, but Florida, they get it. They know that
Mm.
hurricanes are going to come. People have insurance for that kind of thing, and they have different ways of building things that can protect from that, and that just doesn't happen in the mountains of North Carolina. And so my town, my city, my area of the world, Western North Carolina, is still really suffering. So any travel brats that are in that area, we love you, and I'm so sorry if anything horrible happened to you or your family or your home. But yeah, that I would say was definitely the worst thing that happened in in my life and the lives of the people that I love this year, and just really, really hoping that people are getting back into, you know, what what needs to be done. I mean, it's going to take years before
Yeah.
things are really back to normal, and people in that area rely on tourism. So, unlike Fairhope, where they don't love the tourists, where I grew up, it's all about tourism. And so, it's going to be paying attention, our travel brats. Pay attention to when people in Western North Carolina say, please come, we are ready, because they need your tourism. They need you to come visit. And no matter what, it's still one of the most beautiful areas in the whole United States. In my opinion, we have so many beautiful areas in the United States, but it's a very special area, the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Smoky Mountains. So, yeah, that would be a low. And on a personal low, I mean, this is just so ridiculous. I feel like it's both a high and a low. As you guys know, my boyfriend, Matt Michael, and I are both performers, and we love performing together. And we actually got to perform together for the first time in a long time this year. But it just highlighted the fact that we don't get to work together all the time. So, it's a wonderful thing being with someone who understands what I do and I believe is very good at what we do, but he's off doing it in other places more often than not. So I miss him a lot when we are apart, but when we get to work together, it's really incredible. And hopefully we will be able to find more opportunities to do that in the new year. But I will say that this year for me has been a highlight career-wise.
Mm.
I've had a really good year in the acting world, and I had a career high earlier this year. Sophia got to see the show that I was in. I think we may have mentioned it on Travel Brats before, but I got to play Carole King in Beautiful, the Carole King musical, and it was unlike anything I've ever experienced, and it will go down in history as one of the most amazing contracts I've ever had with incredible people. Just there was so much craziness that was happening in that time, but to get to portray such a beautiful storyteller and singer and get to, yeah, just tell her story for audiences, I really was so honored and privileged to do that. And it was definitely one of those kind of like you're skiing down the mountain with a shopping bag. It just like so embodied who I was as a performer and as a person to get to do that. And I'm really glad that a
Mm.
lot of my family and friends got to see it. Of course, I would have wished that more people got to see it, but it's the kind of thing that I hope to get to do again one day. So, yeah, I think, just with all of that being said, I always want, and I know Sophia believes this too, that when we come to the end of the year, to remind ourselves what we're thankful for. And I know we do that during Thanksgiving, but it is something, of course, we all have that where we look back from January 1st to December 31st. What has this year been all about? And from the highs and the lows, I hope that you guys have more highs than lows. And no matter what, that tomorrow's a new day. We're
Mm.
going into January and it's a new start. It's funny because Sophia and I have birthdays around this time. My birthday is in December. Sophia's birthday is actually in 2 days. And it's not only, I think, do people look this, when it's your birthday, you're looking back at your own personal birth year. But when you have a birthday around the new year, it all kind of combines. And so this time is a very big time of like, oh, what has this calendar year meant to me, but also what has this birth year meant to me? And as I turn this new age, all of these things. So it's fun for us that Sophia and I get to kind of share that we have these look back and look forward moments around the same time. And because it's not always the best when you have a holiday birthday. Um,
No, it's funny. When I was little, I used to hate it because it's like less presents. Everybody groups your birthday and Christmas, and oh, we'll just do a group thing for both. But as I get older and I get less presents, but I also get more mature and grow in wisdom. I feel like it's really fun, like you said, to be like new year, new age, next chapter, next year. And so that's really special. Nat, I love that you mentioned I love that you mentioned Asheville. I think that's so important. And I won't talk about it too much more, but you guys do go visit Asheville and thoughts for those people. If you have friends, reach out to them. If you guys are there, we love you. And let us know what we can do. And Nat, let's go to Asheville when it's, fixed and do a fun Travel Brats promo again. I know I always think about how Asheville was one of our most popular episodes, and that was even before you came on. And I don't know. I know we're not gonna go forever on the episode, but I do want you to tell the Travel Brats what happened on your final night of the Carole King musical with Matt. Because I think that was just so special and it was so fun for you to close out the show and for also you who you don't, get to work with Matt a lot. Matt's Natalie's boyfriend, guys, in case you forgot his name. Matt Michael, he's on here a lot. But just tell us the story because I just think that's amazing.
Yeah, so, well, yeah, long story short, we had a few things happen throughout the contract that led to this moment. But essentially, our lead male got injured the day before we closed the show. We had two shows on our closing day, and the understudy had put in his contract that he was going to be gone on closing the one day he was going to be gone because he was in his best friend's wedding. And Matt happened to be in town. He had just closed a show in Savannah, Georgia, had come this way to see my show. And somehow it all magically kind of happened that he was like, what if I stepped in? And our stage manager and our director pretty quickly were like, okay, you're on. So Friday night, he was backstage learning the show. And then Saturday, he went on for two shows and got to play opposite me. So this is like Carole King and her first husband, Jerry Goffin. They are the main love story of the show. And so he learned the show in literally 8 hours, stayed up all night, and he killed it. He absolutely nailed it. I was so impressed with him. And that is certainly one of the reasons why this show will forever be imprinted on my mind and my heart, not only because I got to play the role, but because it culminated in getting to play opposite this person that I love and who I respect as a performer and who I was just like totally enthralled with the fact that he could learn the show so quickly and then just go on and do it. And he was so laser focused, he was so professional, and of course, it was such a joy to get to work with him because he's just so fun to work with, and I trust him implicitly on stage and off stage.
Um,
But it was amazing. And Sophia got to be there for it with her parents-in-law, who we didn't tell what was happening. I was like, we're not going to tell, because Sophia was already planning to come to the show that night. She came to our very last show, the final show of closing, and we didn't tell her. And then all of a sudden, they're like, wait, what's Matt doing on stage?
I know it was the funniest thing I think I've ever experienced. Definitely up there because I'm sitting there with Mike's mom and dad, like Natalie said, and Mike's my husband, and and we're there, and they're reading the intro, and they're like, "Oh, Natalie and Matt say hello to Sophia," and I was like, "Matt? Like, why would they?" And I was like, "Oh, well, he's performed lots of shows there. He's friends with everybody there." So I was like, "Okay, that's funny, but whatever." And then he comes out, and Mike's dad's like, "I told you." Like if he was in the intro, like he's in the show, and I was like, that's impossible. He just got here. There's no way, like there's no logical explanation for this. And he comes out, and it was amazing. So for me to be there that literally that night he did it, I did that was just so cool. So and not before I forget, now what is your booked and blessed plan for January? So our
Oh,
travel
yeah.
brats know.
Booked and blessed. That's what we actors say. So yeah, I'm really fortunate to be uh, cast in shows for the next 7 months. Finding work as a gig performer can be tough, but I'm going to be doing Jersey Boys at the Barbara B. Mann, which we've done an episode on Barbara B. Mann before. They're an amazing touring location. I'm going to be a part of their Broadway series. And so we're starting Jersey Boys there in January. And then I'll be working at Florida Repertory Theater again, which I had the opportunity to work there last year. And then I'll be at Players Circle Theater again, which is where I have worked many, many years, done lots of shows there, probably at this point, 10 to 15 shows. there. I'm one of their resident company members. So yeah, it's I feel very, very blessed, very fortunate, and very excited to be able to continue working, especially in the Southwest Florida area where I feel like I've really been able to make a theater home.
Yeah. And just to close kind of our best and worst, I did want to touch on the election too, Natalie. That was a great point. I totally missed it. And guys, just remember, like Natalie said, we love you, and also like everybody's a person. So, don't let it lose friendships. Don't lose your travel buddies because you disagree. Have a respect for everybody, whether they're close friends or not. And just, don't focus on the person, and just be kind, guys. Be kind, and have adventures with everybody. So, but yeah, and speaking of adventures with everybody, Nat, actually, wait, one of my lowest parts, Natalie, was not seeing you for the last like 6 months, I think.
That's a true
Because
love. That's the
I
word.
know it's a true low. Speaking of Carole King, so far away. Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore? No, we don't, because we're travel brats. But, again, a goal for 2025 would be to, we need a reunion. We need to see each other, do some travel brats, but also have some girls' time. So, you guys, if you followed us for the last, if you've been following us for the last couple years, Natalie and I used to be in the same place, and now we're not. So, we do miss each other, like all normal people miss each other when they haven't seen each other in 6 months. She probably doesn't miss me as much as Matt, but that's okay. That's understandable. But yeah, and speaking just of our travels, I want to transition, and we want to just kind of do a recap for you guys. We know that we did a kind of July recap for the first 6 months of the year because we had our 200th episode. So that was kind of a little celebration and a little, recap thoughts on the year and so far. But we're gonna kind of touch on July through now, and just talk about some of our favorite episodes. Nat, you want to go first or me?
Yeah, I'll start because I think we can collectively start. I know we had both written down a couple of our favorites, and I noticed that there was a lot of overlap because I will say that the last couple of months since our 200th episode, we have had some great series. We've had some really amazing guests who are just like really entertaining and fun to talk to. And we've also just done some fun episodes. And both Sophia and I highlighted our Halloween Horror Nights episode, which was the most recent episode that we were able to record together with a guest and not individually with a guest. And so that was awesome. I loved getting to do that with Matt, of course, and Sophia had so much fun editing that. I think she had
It gets
so much fun
spooky.
putting in all the like little sound effects, which, we I will say, like, we are working hard for you guys, and especially Sophia. I just have to give my fellow travel brat a round of applause. She is doing so much for this whole Travel Brats enterprise and everything that we want to bring to you guys. I just think she's working so hard, and I'm super impressed by her. And so aside from the Halloween Horror Nights episode, I think that our California series was really great, and I hope that you guys loved that. But Sophia and I both put that as one of our highlights because I think it was just fun to talk about some places that, like, obviously San Francisco and Lake Tahoe are like huge places that a lot of people know, but then we also got to talk about Sonora, and I like those kind of more hidden gem type places. So those would be kind of our collective favorites. And the Halloween Horror Nights episode was our 210th episode, if you want to go back and listen to it. Obviously, Halloween Horror Nights is well behind us as we are getting into the new year. But if you want to make plans for next year, give that episode a listen and try it out, because Halloween Horror Nights starts like end of August and goes till November. So it's a nice chunk of time. And then our Cali series were, I think, episodes 206 to 208. So they were shortly before our Halloween Horror Nights episode. But one person that we had on that I really enjoyed was Ella. And granted, I did not get to be a part of these episodes with her. This was a Sophia interviewee situation, but I had so much fun because I got to edit these episodes. And so I got to watch them and listen and just really enjoy what Ella had to say. And her episodes were 203 and 204. So I would say if you are someone that likes to do solo traveling, or like if you do a lot of work travel, if you are a female in the business. And she just had a lot to say about the kinds of travel that she has done and the people that she has met, doing personal travel but also work travel. So I really enjoyed those episodes. And then lastly, Soph and I did some little trivia episodes, which I hope are fun for you guys. They're fun for us.
Yeah.
I think we have a really good time quizzing each other and seeing, if we're, yeah, I would say as smart as a fifth grader, because a lot of the trivia is like, pretty basic geography stuff. But I always learn stuff when we do these trivia episodes, and I learn a lot when we do the music episodes because I love music, but I don't know music the same way that some of my friends do, or know artists, or know different things like that. So it's fun to use an episode to learn some things and just have a good time and kind of take a break from all the different things that we do. I hope that you guys enjoy the variety that we offer. And as always, we want your feedback. If you're like, no, we just like interviews, we don't want any more of that trivia stuff, then let us know. But we want to give you guys what you want. And I think that we had a lot of fun diving into different things the last couple of months.
Yeah, I would totally agree. I think it's always fun with the trivia, road trip snacks, blah, blah, blah. All those mini episodes that we kind of throw in every once in a while. I think you guys have liked it. I've gotten high listens on it and downloads because I think that it's nice to throw in just like a chill thing into the mix. And like you said, Nat, every time we do friends game nights, it's so much of like Trivial Pursuit. So it's just something we love. It's an easy thing to pass the time if you're on a road trip. Actually, this is really funny. For Thanksgiving, we went to Fairhope, and I was driving with my brother, one of my younger brothers, and we are playing like deep sea trivia, and we passed our exit and we like got stuck on the bridge to Mobile. So everyone's like, "Hey, yeah, hashtag most memorable travel story." We're literally, my sister's like, "Where is everybody? We're here." And my mom was like, "Oh, we stopped at Bucky's." My stepdad's like, "Oh, we had to do this. We didn't leave the house till whatever." And I'm like, "Well, Christian and I are in Mobile. We decided to just get a coffee. We'll be there in an hour." He's like, well, at least we're by a Starbucks. I'm like, all right, we went to Mobile for Starbucks. That's fair. Like, it was so funny. But anyway, I just love road trip trivia. It's a great way. It's like a Mad Libs or something fun to pass the time, and then you can play with somebody else, while they're driving and just kind of have a good time. Yes, Ella, such a hoot. I love her. And then obviously Matt Michael, he came on our Halloween Horror Nights episode, and he's so great. He's so funny. If you guys like him, because who doesn't? He also did an episode with Natalie earlier this year on Universal. And it's just I don't know if I've ever laughed so hard listening to a Travel Brats episode. And that was just them two just playing off each other. You guys know they're the cutest little lovers. And so it was just hilarious. And then I'd have to say, yeah, like you said, California series, it was amazing. I really loved learning about Sonora and then just like reflecting on the other trips we've been to, Tahoe and San Francisco. Um, another favorite of mine had to be because we're well into ski season now. But this came out, it was episode 212 when ski season was just starting. Skiing during Sundance in Utah, with my ski bum extraordinaire brother Sebastian Bolano. He's getting as much skiing as he can. He's on sabbatical right now. He's having his baby in February, his first baby. So he's gone crazy. He's up in the mountains right now. But that was such a fun episode, and it really inspired me to try and get to Utah to plan a trip because I have not skied in Utah, and it is just Powder's amazing there. It's got some of the most amazing skiers only mountains. So snowboarders, sorry, but just kidding. There's plenty of other resorts for the snowboarders. So we like to joke about that because we're purists for skiers. We're purist skiers, but yeah. And then what am I missing? I loved the tech travel conversation I had with founder and CEO of a company called Bubble, Haley Melodonis. She's an Aussie. So first of all, it was just such a fun episode to listen to and to watch because she's just so cool. But yeah, she was great, and quick lowdown on Bubble for you guys. It is the coolest new like group travel platform. They have a website and they're coming out soon with an app, but basically we're on there now as travel planners. And you guys can also just click on our link and use our code for $25 off your first travel trip. But you can basically just go bubble with other people. And what that means is if you want to go to a conference or you want to go to, say, Fashion Week, or you want to go on a ski trip, these people basically lease out these properties or these hotels. And it's not necessarily that like they're travel guides and you have to stick to the trip. If you just want to go work remote for a month, go stay in a bubble. And then you can meet the other people. They're all vetted. There's a couple other platforms that do this, but only for influencers. So if you're just like a solo traveler, young professional, you're single, or you want to meet people to go skiing with or to go to Fashion Week, say nobody likes that, you're the only one that's into fashion or something like that, it's great. It'll show you whether it's women friendly, couple friendly. It has all the details of everybody else that's going. So you can reach out to people in the platform before and say, hey, my name's Sophia. I saw that you also live in Alabama or Florida or whatever. It's so cool. I love it. And it's a great way to connect with people who love to travel like you, especially if, say, you're like me and my husband's in med school, so he doesn't travel a lot, or you're always looking for people to travel with. So thought it was really cool. You guys go check it out. Just bubble.co and use our link in our code that's in that episode, and go check out that episode first because it's awesome. I loved it. And then skiing, oh, sorry, not skiing, living in La Perla de Caribe, exploring the Dominican Republic with Cassidy and Zeke. That was such a fun episode. They're friends of mine from Florida, and they've just been living in the DR, and now they've moved to a location in Mexico. They're missionaries. It was so cool to get the DR from a not tourist perspective, and to just be able to see, okay, where did you guys actually stay? What were the actual restaurants you went to, and like the local things you did, like the walk on the beach and the old forts and the old churches that they all got to see. So that was really cool because I am not super well versed on the DR, just other places in the Caribbean. So that was nice to add to the Caribbean arsenal. And yeah, those would have to be my favorite. And Nat, again, you're so sweet. Thank you. I've worked hard, but so have you. And it's just been like such a fun year with Travel Brats. I think season 5 is obviously going to be great, but season 4 is definitely my favorite so far. So yeah, and now on that note, I want to kind of talk about with our Travel Brats a little bit what's coming up in season 5.
Mm.
Yeah. So season 5, guys, we're gonna stick to our episode every other Tuesday. That gives you time to listen and go back to any other ones that you haven't listened to. Give us feedback. We're again working really hard to plan good blogs with our episodes, link all the places so that you can actually build your own travel itineraries. We're bringing on some phenomenal guests. Like Nat said, we had some great ones this year, and next year I'm super excited because we are going to be talking with Dr. Erin Kinney. She is a doctor, and she did an awesome episode with me on just like how to stay healthy when you're traveling, different time zones, airport food, how to keep your kids if you're traveling with them calm and things like that, put them to bed with all the different changing time zones and flights and things like that. And then I think probably my favorite series that we're going to do, because this is a series, it's 3 episodes, is with a Italian couple, and they have a company called Turissimo. But we went all over Italy, and so they took me to all the different regions. They do like more hole in the wall hidden gem spots. They do hiking and biking tours, but they know all the small towns. The wife had grown up in the United States and met her husband on a trip to Italy, and he had grown up in Italy. So it's like a super cute, oh my gosh, so romantic Hallmark story with them. But they have a travel company now because they were working for other travel companies, and they're like, why don't we just create our own? And I just love it. If you guys have been to Italy and you've listened to some of our other Italy episodes and you're like, where can I dig deeper? Where else is there to go? I don't know much about the less explored regions, things like that. That's what we dive into. And again, we just scratched the surface, but there was so much fun to record and to learn more about Italy through. So stay tuned for that, guys. That's going to be such a fun series. And then I also interviewed another really fun cruiser. Her name is Erin Morgenthau, and she just gave me all the cruise 101 best cruises. She's also a theme park junkie, so all the best theme parks. And if you guys, you're growing older with the Travel Brats and you're at this point where you're having kids, she talks a lot about how to travel with kids because she does not let kids hold her back from traveling, which I love. And she also has an autistic child. And so she talks about what hotel chains and cruises are, autism friendly and things like that. So all things kids, cruises, theme parks, she's great for that. And then yeah, those are kind of some upcoming episodes we have. And I know Nat, you probably have some ideas for next year too. But we're just so excited. And you guys, again, go on our website, let us know what you want to hear. You can even DM us. You can call us at 12345 get lost. Just kidding. We love you. We'd love to text with you guys, but that would be physically impossible. Especially with all the scammers and spammers out there. We can't give you our numbers. But just in general, like looking forward to our lives and what we've got going on next year. I've got a big move in June, July. My husband and I find out where we end up in February. He's in med school and we're only in Dothan for 2 years. So we could end up anywhere in Alabama, mid to North Florida or Georgia. There's even some locations in Mississippi. So we will keep you guys updated. And so we'll be doing another big move in the summer. And then we can't wait. Again, this is a life thing, but also a total travel brats thing. New Zealand. My husband's like whole family's from New Zealand except for immediate. And so we're going to be talking about our adventures there. And I'm so excited for that. That's just going to be amazing. And then I also am taking another long ski trip. A
You
longer
are.
one. What'd you say?
But of course you are.
I know, a longer one this time because I obsessed. So I'm gonna be going from literally the end of January to like mid-March. So gonna hit a lot of places that are I got an Icon pass this year. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna hit as many mountains as I can from Icon and then give you guys a full review afterwards. So those are some of the things I'm looking forward to next year. It's gonna be good. Now, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I already said about the shows that I've got upcoming, and I'm definitely going to be planning some travel because of course. And I have a very big trip coming up in, well, the next month, January. I will be at the end of the month going to Brussels.
Ooh, Brussels, see baby Sophia. Well, she's not a baby
Yeah,
anymore.
I know she's 3, and my nephew Leo is going to be 2 in April. So they'll be 2 and 4 pretty soon. But my sister has another one coming.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah, so I'm going to be there to help with the other 2 kids while they settle into life with a third baby. And so I'll be there, yeah, at the end of January, and I'm very excited about that. It's been a little while since I went to Brussels to visit them, and they've since moved into a big house. And so I'm excited to, yeah, just get some quality time with my sister and her family and then hopefully traveling more in the United States. Actually, fun fact, travel brats, here's one thing I'll leave you with. So because of the international travel that I do on occasion, I would say I'd like to take an international trip at least once a year if I can, especially now that my sister lives in Europe. And I haven't necessarily been consistent with that, but I travel enough in the United States that I felt like this was worth it. I got global entry recently. Now,
Mm.
so I don't know if you guys, do you do TSA pre-check? Are you part of that?
You know what's funny is as a travel brat, I should totally have all of the
Oh,
above, and
you
I
should
don't have any.
1000% have it because, first of all, global entry, you only have to pay like, I don't know if it's 30, 40, 50, somewhere in there. It's like a little bit more money to get global entry. And again, for me, it was worth it because I do enough global travel to make that worth it. And I haven't gotten the chance to use it yet, so I'm excited to use it for my trip to Brussels and be able
Ooh.
to go through the TSA pre-check because if you get global entry, it's like an umbrella. You also get TSA pre-check. So if you just do TSA, which is in the United States, you pay a certain amount, you pay a little bit extra, and you get it on a more global scale. Now, not every single airport in the world is compliant with the global entry, but most of them are. And again, I thought, okay, I take a European trip every once in a while, but it still makes sense for me traveling in the United States with how much I do it to be able to access the TSA pre-check. And I feel like it's going to be so fancy because I've always always just waited in the regular security line and had to do,
Mm.
all the take your shoes off and take your this off and everything. And my mom has always said, "Oh, I love TSA pre-check. I love global entry." She's always talked it up. And then I had a friend of mine who was also talking it up, and I'm like, "Man, you know what? I just need to do this. I just need to do it." And the interview process was very swift and like it was really great. I'm so glad that I did it, and I'm excited to travel with more efficiency. So I would definitely say, Sophia, I'm preaching to you as much as I'm preaching to our travel brats in that I think that it's worth it. So
Oh, I
that's
see.
all.
Okay. I see. So it's part of the choir today. All right. No, I definitely need to get, I need to get it. I need to get it. I know. I bet the travel brats are like, what the heck? Like she doesn't have that. It's funny because we joke about the Atlanta airport, and honestly, the TSA line, this is a fun fact. This is what I'll leave you with, travel brats, is global entry. It's in TSA pre-check so much faster, except I feel like the Atlanta airport, because it's funny. We always test this in airports because my mom has it and she leaves me. Like she's like, peace out, sucker. And she like goes in the line and I'm like, bye, mom. So I'm like, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you. I literally beat her to the gate in Atlanta during the holidays last year with, and she had like global entry, TSA pre-check, and I just went through like the peasant line. And we were laughing so hard because that is not the case. Like that is
Yeah.
never the case. But the Atlanta airport is just so, I hate them. I hate you guys. They're so unorganized. Just kidding. Hate's a strong word, but I don't like you guys. So disorganized, busiest airport, most poorly laid out airport. It's the Delta hub. So I gotta fly out of there. But and my family lives there. But anyway, it's just kind of funny. Fun fact, I told her she should have just stayed with me. But anyway, yes, for every other airport, most likely in the entire world. I mean, I guess you can't really quote me on that because I've never been to every airport, but it's gonna pay off. And then yeah, you don't have to take your nasty, put your feet on the nasty floor, take your shoes off, do all that stuff. Especially if you have kids. Oh man. So yeah, it's a good investment. I will say from not personal experience, from Natalie's experience, it's a good investment. And guys, again, thank you so much for just being loyal travel brats this year. If you guys have any questions about what to do, where to travel, any of our current episodes, let us know. And please, 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 guys, all we want for Christmas is you to leave us a review on your preferred streaming platform. We got some haters on Spotify. I see you. All right, we're working on that. We're working on that. Apple, lot of love. All right, 5 stars on Apple. Whatever. Again, and you guys just have a very happy new year. Make some reasonable resolutions. Don't go crazy. But just make some really big travel resolutions for 2025 and stay tuned for all the exciting things we've got going on. So we will catch you guys on the next episode and happy new year.
Mwah. Love you guys.
Mwah.